Hey guys, what's up? Cardmaster Phoenix here, bringing you guys my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile for October 16th, 2017. So let's just go ahead and hop into it. I know that this is a 45 card variant, but that's because I like running as many of my favorites as possible without compromising consistency. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. First of all, I'm running 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon, of course. This is your main reason that this deck is even used. You use this card for so many things, but we'll get into that later. For our first main effect monster, we have 3 copies of the White Stone Legend. If this card's sent to the graveyard, add 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. This card isn't as good as especially the White Stone Ancients, which we'll get into a little bit later, but it's a tuner monster and it gets it out, so why not? If nothing else, it gets it onto the field, you know, and that would help with, of course, the Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragons effect. Moving on, we're also running 3 copies of the White Stone Ancients. This card you always want in your graveyard. You're dumping it with Premature Burial. You're using 1/1 to dump it to get the draw, to get the special summon of usually either Sage of Eyes of Blue or Maiden with Eyes of Blue. This card's amazing. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes and its name monster from your deck. However, you can banish this card from your graveyard to then target 1 Blue Eyes and its name monster from your graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of the White Stone Ancients once per turn. You can use its first effect as many times as you want. No, only once per turn, never mind. But this card's very, very powerful. You always want this card in your graveyard. Moving on, we have triple Sage of the Eyes of Blue. This card is very good, especially when you're syncing up into either your Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, whatever have you. When this card's normal summoned, you can add 1 level 1 like tuner monster from your deck to your hand, except this card, and then you can discard this card to then target 1 effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. And you can only use this effect of Sage of Eyes of Blue once per turn. Again, this card's amazing. He's your level 1 spellcaster tuning monster to tune up and sync up into Azure Eyes, Spirit Dragon, basically anything. Also, you'll usually use this card to search out your Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Sometimes your White Stone of Legend. You're usually going to keep your Stone of Ancients in the deck to dump with Foolish Burial, and sometimes you're 1/1. The only reason you'd ever add the White Stone of Ancients to your hand is if you're going to search him with Eyes of Blue for the intention of 1/1. And then you'll get out your copy of Sage of Eyes of Blue again, or maybe your Maiden with Eyes of Blue. It's really up to you. But that's just what the purpose he serves. Moving on, we have 3 copies of Maiden with the Eyes of Blue. When this card's targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, change the battle position of this card, and special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard, meaning anywhere in the field, except for if it's banished, of course. And during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets the face of the card, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, graveyard once again. You can only use 1 effect. This card per turn, only once that turn. Then we're also running 3 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, and he serves the exact purpose as the name on the card. He's just your second Blue Eyes. It can't be normal summoner set. It must first be special summoned from your hand by revealing the original from your hand, and you can only special summon Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon once per turn this way. This card's name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while it's on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and destroy it. However, this card can't attack the turn this effect is activated. Usually, rather than using trade-in, you'll keep your Blue Eyes in hand to trigger alternative white, and then you'll use trade-in to dump it for 2, and then you'll use Silver's card to bring it back. It's just really whatever, but that's just the way I like to utilize this effect the most. And moving on to round up our monster lineup, we have 3 copies of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. You can ritual summon this card with Chaos Form, and this card must be ritual summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways, cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict double piercing battle damage to your opponent. Now I know it says you can ritual summon this card with Chaos Form, but keep in mind it says you can ritual summon this card with Chaos Form. You don't have to, which is why we're running triple advanced ritual arts. That way you can send normal monsters from your deck to the graveyard. You basically you basically tribute your Blue Eyes, and that's how you get up this card. And of course that will trigger a Silver's Cry, that will trigger basically everything. Namely Silver's Cry and Return of the Dragon Lords. Moving on to our spells, we have 1 for 1. Send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard. Cough Cough, White Stone of Ancients. If you really don't have that, White Stone of Legend, but whatever. Then you special summon 1 level 1 monster from your hand or deck. And of course your main target with this will be Sage of the Eyes of Blue. However, you could also get out your main one. Well, I guess main Eyes of Blue is a little bit better, since that would be wasting Sage of the Eyes of Blue's effect. And it basically does the same thing since level 1 tuner. Moving on, you will have 1 Foolish Burial to just help dump your other targets, mainly your White Stone of Legend. Ancients, I'm sorry. Sometimes your Legend, but mainly White Stone of Ancients. Moving on, double trade-in. Only 2 copies because I don't like it that much, since we can only dump it with Dragon Shrine. And then you get your free pot of greed, so that's good. Moving on, triple Dragon Shrine. Send 1 Dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Cough Blue Eyes. If that monster in your graveyard is a Dragon type normal monster, you can send 1 Dragon type monster from your deck to your graveyard. You can activate 1 Dragon Shrine per turn. Usually you're going to dump 1 Blue Eyes and then jump a White Stone of Ancients. Moving on, you also have 3 copies of Silver's Cry to bring back the Blue Eyes in the graveyard, and that's that. Moving on, you also have Return of Dragon Lords. We're running that at 3 copies, as well as both Dragon Shrine and Silver's Cry. You want to target 1 level 7 or 8 Dragon type monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If a Dragon type monster or a monster you control would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it's just a protection effect, which is good. You know, because in case Chaos Max is somehow in danger, no, it's not anymore. Finally, to round off our spell lineup, we're running 3 copies of Advanced Ritual Art, basically Turbo Chaos Max into the field, and that's what that's for. Finally, moving on to traps, you have 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Solemn Warning, triple Solemn Strike, and triple Quaking Mirror Force. All pretty standard. For the extra deck, I'm only running 6, being triple Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, and triple Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Azure Eyes, of course, to make monsters you control, currently control, unable to be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the next turn, end of next turn, I'm sorry. And of course, once per turn during your standby phase, you can target Blue Eyes in the graveyard, special summon it. And it can still attack during you activate this effect, so that's awesome. Moving on, you have Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Your player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. It'd be so much better if it was once during the same turn, but I guess it's better this way. And once per turn during your player's turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, you can negate the activation. It's basically Abyss Dweller, and during either player's turn, you can tribute the synchro summon cards for summon like Dragon type synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position, except this card, but destroy it during end phase, so basically use this to target Azure Eyes. 2 quick things I want to mention. You should definitely be running Honest, because it was at 2, now it's back at 3. If you really wanted to, you could take out your trade-ins or your Dragon Shrines, maybe your White Stone of Legends. I guess it doesn't really matter. Point is, if you want to run Honest, it's there. I don't think you need it. I think you're good enough as you are, because you can't even target Chaos Max, and it's going to be your main boss monster deck, of course, but whatever. If you want to run it, you can. And of course, the side deck isn't really a side deck, it's just showing you guys what I would run if I was making this deck a little bit later. I, of course, have my other trade-in, Triple Protect Rise Blue, Triple Keeper Shrine, you know, just your standard cards, you know, that, you know, you would run under certain builds, under circumstances. With that being said, guys, it's going to go ahead and wrap up for this deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been your host, Cardmaster Phoenix, signing out. See you guys next time.